Despite slowing growth, Chinese consumer confidence is high just now. Urban consumers drive the economy, they are savvy and always changing. So, how can we keep up? We'll take a look at identifying buyer personas pre-COVID and see what's emerging. So, let's dive in there just now. Hello, Hendo here. Welcome to FMCG Insights, Understanding the Chinese Consumer. In this video, I'll share shopper buying habits, personas, where China has come from, and include fast-moving luxury goods. To learn more about markets, brand marketing, and Scotland from a global perspective, please like this video, subscribe, but also check out hendotalks.com if you're interested in speaker services or projects. I've met Chinese consumers in China, digital natives, mass affluent, and across Asia Pacific region in the last decade, sharing time with affluent tourists in European cities, entertaining Chinese billionaires at home in Scotland, and still in touch with Chinese friends on WeChat, which is over 1 billion users. So a broad mix from trade marketing and insights of how Chinese spend their disposable income and how they interact with you as a brand owner. First, if we can unlearn outdated narratives in China, it's a factory. They live to work hard to get rich. Things have moved fast in the world's most populous nation, and the West feels very slow in comparison, so it's best to try and keep up. Despite the trade disputes and international press, China has showed incredible resilience. It's interesting to look at the backstory to this. It could give you the edge in future success. The pace and scale of Chinese consumption is hard to grasp from afar. A decade ago, most urban Chinese were able to cover basic needs. Now half are living relatively well off. 60% of GDP is coming from urban consumers. It's a steep rising population driving through aspirational and mass affluent. They're moving away from low value to more tailored individual experiences, but still hold their savvy roots. So let's have a look at Chinese consumers. Less than 2 decades ago, you could crudely group consumers as engaged, not engaged, and actively disengaged. It's moved on somewhat since then. Here's 5 Chinese buyer personas. Number 1, secure traditionalist. Number 2, inspired adventurer. Number 3, undaunted striver. Number 4, balanced optimist. Number 5, cautious planner. So number 1, the secure traditionalist. Avoids shopping for strongly branded products and prefers saving money over defining themselves through labels. Was the largest slice of the Chinese market, 27%, but hard to crack, slow to use mobile apps for e-commerce, prefer personal connections with a brand. You need to talk in their terms first. Very few second chances with them. Number 2, inspired adventurer, likes trying new products and travels overseas. This could be a fruitful category for Western luxury brands, but all these people are very different. Ages and in different places. Success with these like-minded people is with experiential marketing. Targeting first and second tier cities could be different messaging for third and fourth tier cities. Number 3, undaunted striver. Branded purchases, luxury and latest tech gadgets. They're motivated, key influencers, image conscious, tech savvy, reach on extremely personalised level, heavily investment in Tencent and WeChat, focus to personalise at scale. Number 4, balanced optimist, healthy living and well-being, but remain tech savvy and reliant on their mobile phones. But Beijing or Fuzhou, completely different target groups. Think about your product here. Does it fit this demographic? Number 5, cautious planner, careful with their money, use traditional methods. 13% of the overall market, niche luxury brands that lean heavily on heritage and history. It's far more effective to focus on a smaller, high-value core audience that you know will respond well than broad brush appeal, which ultimately fails to generate much response. Now, when I was assessing as a luxury Scotch whisky brand owner, number 2, inspired adventure, number 3, and possibly number 5 for heritage was where I identified targets. Always remember the 3 reasons to buy for Chinese people is trust, quality, and face. Chinese word menzi, not literally face. It means prestige and to be seen positively in other eyes. But it's a two-way street. Brands can lose face. We've seen Western luxury brands faux pas in the last couple of years. So delivering a customer experience to match these reasons to buy is important. If savvy consumers are trading up or trading down products, think about where your product sits and the messaging around your brand to capitalise on the trend. Now think about these personalities as the trend shift. Here's 5 trends from McKinsey & Company's Chinese Consumer Report. Trend 1. Young free spending consumers in lower tier cities are moving up. Coming of age, 25% of the population, but 60% spend. Netizens or digital natives, a very influential demographic with differing views on Western luxury brands. Trend 2. Most Chinese consumers are increasingly discerning, savvy and frugal about their spending. Trend 3. The health conscious movement is here to stay. Most are looking for a healthier lifestyle. Trend 4. Chinese consumers continue to be more sophisticated travellers, less large groups and more exclusive tours. Trend 5. High-end Chinese brands are increasingly appealing. Western luxury needs to work harder. It doesn't help that travel restrictions has forced this hand. I remember the heady days only a couple of years ago when Chinese returning from Europe shopping trips, spending much more freely on luxury goods than Americans in Europe. Relatively affluent households are 34% of the population in Tier 3 and Tier 4 Chinese cities, but China's humble roots can still be felt in consumer choices, and I recognise similarities in my own culture from parents or grandparents, boomer generation, after the Second World War. The frugal mindset is how they were brought up. Remember also in China, storytelling is hardwired over the centuries. Ping Shu, strong part of their culture. So factor that in your brand storytelling, your content marketing. When I worked in global travel retail, I noticed Chinese people recognise only the most famous Scotch whisky brands as a luxury product. You have to work hard to sway them. Staying in touch with trends and how buyer personalities develop, it can help you focus on building better relationships, content you share, and all-important peer acceptance. Like all markets, think about how you fit in their landscape from their point of view, not just meeting objections in a sale, but what your brand means to them, how they talk about your brand, the digital ecosystem of Chinese social media that they'll share, and how your brand interacts and entices Chinese consumers. There are over 20 million brand WeChat official accounts called OA. Let that sink in. They have options. The Great Firewall does mean you have to play in their turf, but just as they are savvy shoppers, you can be a savvy supplier. Watch my next video, The Chinese Decade. So tell us your thoughts on understanding the Chinese consumer. I'll link more videos on this, and if you're interested in projects in China, contact us at hendotalks.com. As always, welcome your comments. I hope this was useful to you in some way. Until next time, thanks very much for watching.